pumping energy into Mother Nature, she has a way of lashing back out at us in ways that we're not prepared to deal with.
Oh, yes, she sure does. Let's go to Denny now in Milford, Delaware. You're on with Brooks Agnew. Denny, go ahead.
Good morning, gentlemen. This was concerning the lady that called earlier, and you were talking about the, excuse me, the contrails and the chemtrails.
Yeah.
And every morning, I'm probably maybe 20 miles from the Delaware Bay, and every morning from the northeast to the southwest or from the southwest back to the northeast, all these jets are flying over. And some of them, the contrails will dissipate, and others, the contrails stay there. And one morning in about an hour's period of time, I counted 30 jets going back and forth.
Wow.
And I was just wondering if you could tell me, how you can tell the difference between a contrail and a chemtrail.
Now, that's a tough one, Brooks. It is very difficult to ascertain the difference.
These skyways, which is what the caller is describing, are actually like roads in the sky. These are nav aids that these jets fly when they go from airport to airport, and they pretty much have to stay inside of navigational perusal while they're flying in the Northeast because it's so congested. Different altitudes, different headings, all these jets have to be managed by a massive computer system. So seeing them all in one line is not uncommon. What is uncommon is to see a jet that has a very short contrail behind because the water vapor will very, very quickly go invisible in air that has almost no moisture in it. But a chemtrail is not like that. A chemtrail will linger for hours and will spread and dissipate. That's a big difference. And if a jet's putting out that kind of vapor out of its jet engines, it's not being very efficient in the way it burns fuel.
And we're breathing this stuff, Brooks.
We're breathing it. It's ending up in the soil. We have high aluminum content, which is one of the telltale signs that this is being dropped. It ends up in the soil. It ends up in the plants. We end up ingesting it. There are side effects to these chemicals that are being put into the air and these metals that are being put into the air.
You were talking earlier about the population and mind control and how to bring a soldier down to his knees. Do you think they have these little portable harps where they can just like handheld devices?
They're not handheld, but they mount on the back of Hummers, and they take them into the battlefield. They've got a parabolic dish on them. It's a little eighth wave unit, and they can aim it lateral to the ground, target it right into the battle area, and they do use it.
Could it kill somebody if it was aimed right at their body and just really turned on?
I don't think so. This isn't in the microwave range. It's not enough to
it's not going to cook you.
Yeah. It's not going to influence the molecular vibrations of the human body like microwaves would. It couldn't cook you, but it's definitely could have control over your bowels, your heartbeat, your liver functions. I would hate to see it being used as a lethal weapon. I don't like the idea of it being used as a non-lethal weapon. It's a huge violation of the sovereignty of the human mind.
I'm concerned that these things could be used to control population, and not in terms of manipulating minds, but let's say there's a massive protest because people are ticked at government, right? Legitimately so. Would they flip that on to send everybody down to their knees?
Well, or make everybody forget why they're there, and I think I'm going to go home and watch TV. I'm going to go to the mall and buy a new pair of pants. I don't know. That's a good question, George.
If Mubarak had it, or if Gaddafi had it, they would use it, I bet.
Absolutely.
Let's go next to John in San Leandro, California. Squeeze you in real fast. Go ahead, John.
Oh, hi, George. Great show again.
Hi. Thank you.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that you think China may be the one that used the HARP against Japan. And I'm just curious of why you would rule out the United States. And we're an ally of Japan, and if China did do that, isn't that considered an act of war against us? Are they challenging us? And second question would be I do believe chemtrails are connected to HAARP. I believe what they're doing is they're sensitizing every human being to more chemical, or how do I say? They're electrifying our systems with the heavy metals that we're ingesting, which makes us more susceptible to mind control and to other nefarious technologies. And so what do you think about that?
All right, we got to go. 30 seconds. Yes, I think it could be considered an act of aggression if it's used in those kinds of purposes. And Brooks, 15 seconds to go. Wrap it up.
Well, I was just going to say that, follow the money. I don't think the U.S. interest would be served by Japan being subjected to this kind of thing, and maybe other countries would. So that's my thought on the matter. Don't forget to visit the websites. We've got a lot of stuff out there. By the way, special for Coast to Coast listeners, if you buy the book tonight, you get the audio version for free. So if you're not a good reader, don't worry about it. I read it for you.
All right. Remembering the future. Thanks, Brooks. Dan Galante, Tom Danheiser, Lisa Lyon, Lex Lonehood, Sean Laudesor, Stephanie Smith, Ross Mitchell, George Knapp, Ian Punnett, and Art Bell. I'm George Norrie. Somewhere out there on Coast to Coast AM. We'll see you on our next edition. Until then, be safe, everyone.